Hardcore Minecraft is a game mode where you only have one total life in a world. If you die, you're done. This game mode tends to force players to have a form of introspection whilst playing, given they live long enough, and allows growth not only in the world itself, but in the player as well. My own world originally started out as a clout chasey sort of deal, coming off of watching Luke the Notable and his hardcore videos. But since then, I've grown and evolved, and the world has too. Of course, I could not make a video on this, seeing how there are thousands of creators out there who have done stuff just like I am now. However, this world has become something special and unique, and represents the time that I have dedicated to taking time to let myself rest, struggle, improve, and grow. Let's discuss. This is my first build in the world, my house. Even though I'm pretty good at sleeping in a bed in the early game, it's still incredibly important to have a place to call home. It hasn't evolved much from when it was built in the early days of the world. It contains 3 floors, one of which became irrelevant once I built my storage building. The choices to utilize copper and birch were because 1, copper was still relatively new block for me, and I wanted to try and use it more in this world. 2, birch was mainly because I like how it looks, and I wanted to spite a friendo of mine, Cobalt. She hates birch. The top floor is more so a trophy hall at this point, and even then I have plans for a proper trophy hall build in the future. I've thought about tearing it down, but I think a build like this, the literal first handmade structure in the whole world, deserves to stay up. The next build, well, it's not really a build, rather. My farms. They were key in the early days for survival, though now they sort of kinda just sit there remaining fully grown for whenever I need any extra emeralds. These fields being 4x4 with evenly spaced water definitely let in a form of life within the very bright and almost rudimentary look that my earlier streams contained. Ah yes, the mine. Being real, I never did use this much. It's typically just used to fight the Wither, except for the 2 times I tried to fight it in the end unsuccessfully. That's honestly about it. The melon and pumpkin farm. This originally started out as a cobblestone build, and eventually was converted into all bricks. Later on, I added the automated side bits and then made it connect to the storage system. This farm has been a staple of the economics of the world, allowing me to get gear and armor that protected me from everything the world threw at me. This was also the start of the lore of the world, the farm being owned by a mystery company dubbed Farm Incorporated. Farm Inc. technically also owns the storage building, but we'll get to that later. This is something I surely would subscribe to. Oh, the watchtower. This is objectively, I think, the first truly creative build I have done ever in any Minecraft project like this. In reality, being me, everything needs to have a purpose, but by continuing and yearning to complete this project, it needed continuous injections of random ideas. I didn't think at first that this tower would look good. However, I finished this and showed it to a couple of my friends, whom all said that it turned out really well, and that they like how it looks, and the functionality of the lights at the top were a fantastic add. Single-handedly, I think this tower may have been the reason I've gotten this far in the world, thinking about it at least. It has literally been a beacon of light that has allowed me to evolve my craft in building structures, making me build in more detail and in the finer stuffs. The storage facility. This build essentially made my home base irrelevant, with a more organized space, besides this shulker monster that's growing within. This build is relatively simple, rather being used to store stuff than being pretty, even to the point where I still haven't put a roof on it yet. Since building it, I've added 2 ways to automatically bring items in, being through the cobblestone farm and the melon pumpkin farm through waterways. Soon, and with the 1.21 update on the way, this storage facility will be able to store and automatically craft nearly anything I want. But we gotta get there first. The storage facility is also owned by Farm Inc. The lore here is that they want to make this small quaint village a company town, so they tried to run everything outside and inside the economic sphere. While they've maintained their presence, the village folk tend to ignore them otherwise, leading to hostile encounters between Farm Inc. officials and the village iron golems. Did y'all know that y'all can support me further by contributing to my Ko-Fi? Of course, it's completely optional. You can also listen to all of my music on any music platform. I also have stickers and CDs available on my website. All are linked down below. Let's get back to it. The village housing and businesses are simple in the way that they are built, to be honest. I wanted the general theme to be a spruce-heavy design, almost making it look like these villagers traveled some distance into the nearby taiga to gather what materials they needed from their closest neighbors. The farmers work in the fields right outside their homes for convenience, and the smiths and stoneworkers share flats above their respective workspaces. This in-universe not only allows them to be close enough to work on their passions, but also allows them to stay safe from intruders. As in previous incidents, Farm Incorporated had sent illagers to raid the village unsuccessfully. After the 2 sides settled down and decided to passively-aggressively coexist, they established the town hall, with the clerics of the village building their home base on top. The historians and magic users visit the town hall often to enchant and repair gear and upkeep the history of this small village. They contracted the stoneworkers to custom craft the stone they used in the town hall to make it look extravagant, alongside keeping the spruce theming as well, and using mud bricks for the floors to insulate it during the cold months. One day, the monolith appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. The villagers investigated it thoroughly, even chalking it up to be being transported through space-time, somehow ending up here. They now use it to preserve all of the different tree types, even venturing into the nether to try and preserve the flora that could be found there. The villagers also do want to rediscover the long-lost end portal and try to find the ancient plant known as the chorus fruit, though they only know of this from the ancient transcripts from the 3-dimensional war, which took place hundreds of thousands of years ago. So in reality, it might be extinct. That isn't going to stop them though. Historians and archaeologists of the village have done expeditions and have located 2 sniffer eggs, which they have been raising from hatching to try and bring back this formerly extinct species. The ruined nether ship has been here for hundreds of years, predating this and other villages in the area. Back then, this whole valley and surrounding areas was an ocean. During the 3-dimensional war, this ship was sailing through the overworld, having come from the nether. It was attacked and sunk. It broke apart at the bottom of the then ocean, and because of its built-in magical properties of the nether, forever froze in place, even staying put when the ocean eventually receded to where it is now. The lava that was stored inside the ship for fuel leaked out when it sunk, but because of the inherent magical properties of the nether, the lava did not turn into obsidian when it interacted with the water, but instead cooling over the years after, eventually also freezing into ice. Over time, these villagers have developed their home and have advanced their technology, but there is so much more that they can and will do in the future. What will happen next? Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the streams that have led to it. The next goal is 500 hours, and I'm sure we'll make it there. And a non-scripted part, but thank you for enjoying my content so far. I recently got a Switch OLED, and so I'm also working on Pokemon videos as well. And with this and Soulcraft and the hardcore stuff, I really appreciate everyone who's just been there watching. Even though the channel isn't monetized yet, I feel like I have created a community that is really tight-knit, and the fact that we're almost at 700 subscribers is phenomenal. Again, I thank you all, and I hope I can continue making amazing content like this in the future. See you in the next one.